There comes a time in history when a nation doesn't just rise. It returns to its divine purpose. India is not just growing in power, it is awakening a spirit that was never lost, only waiting. In this journey of ancient soul and modern strength, you're about to witness why the world now watches India with awe and fear. This is more than politics, more than strategy. This is destiny unfolding. Stay with me till the end, and you'll understand why India isn't just becoming a superpower. It is becoming a force the world can no longer deny, doubt, or diminish. India's defense transformation over the last decade has been nothing short of remarkable. From a traditionally import-reliant nation, India is now emerging as a self-sufficient military powerhouse, focused on speed, precision, and indigenous capability. This rapid modernization is a strategic shift, not just to bolster security, but to send a message to the world that India is prepared, alert, and unafraid. The Indian Air Force has taken major leaps by integrating 4th, 5th, and 5th generation fighters like Rafale and working on the indigenous Advanced Medium Combat Aircraft AMCA. These aircraft bring superior stealth, sensor fusion, and electronic warfare capabilities into India's aerial arsenal. Meanwhile, the Army is revamping its infantry with advanced assault rifles, night vision tech, and next-generation armored vehicles like the Future Ready Combat Vehicle (FRCV). India's Navy, already the 5th largest in the world, is aggressively expanding its blue water capabilities with nuclear-powered submarines like the INS Arihant and aircraft carriers like INS Vikrant, which symbolizes India's ambition to dominate the Indo-Pacific region. Missile technology has seen unprecedented growth, from the already battle-proven BrahMos supersonic missile to long-range Agni V intercontinental ballistic missiles. India's strike range now covers the entire Asian continent and beyond. Development of hypersonic glide vehicles and anti-satellite weapons further pushes India into elite military space. All of this is supported by a booming defense budget and policy shifts encouraging private sector participation and joint ventures with global powers. This has led to increased production of homegrown drones, radars, and cyber defense systems. India isn't just preparing for traditional warfare, it's preparing for future wars across land, sea, air, space, and cyberspace. The speed, scale, and seriousness of its modernization drive have placed the world on alert. India stands among an exclusive group of global powers possessing a fully operational nuclear triad. The ability to launch nuclear weapons from land-based missiles, air-delivered systems, and submarine-launched platforms. This capability forms the backbone of India's strategic deterrence doctrine and dramatically elevates its position in global security dynamics. On land, India's Agni series missiles, ranging from the short-range Agni I to the intercontinental Agni V, are capable of delivering nuclear warheads with precision over thousands of kilometers. These missiles cover all of Asia and parts of Europe, establishing India as a credible long-range threat. Each upgrade in the Agni line brings greater mobility, accuracy, and survivability, ensuring second-strike capability even in the most extreme scenarios. In the air, India has modified its advanced fighter jets like the Mirage 2000, Sukhoi Su-30 Mki, and the upcoming Rafale fleet to carry nuclear payloads. These aircraft serve as flexible platforms for strategic delivery, providing India with both reach and mobility in a crisis. The true game changer lies beneath the surface. With the commissioning of INS Arihant, India's indigenously built nuclear-powered ballistic missile submarine, India achieved the final leg of the triad. Capable of launching submarine-launched ballistic missiles SLBMs like the K-15 and K-4. These platforms ensure survivability and stealth, making them the most reliable form of deterrence. Operating silently beneath the ocean's surface, they can respond to any nuclear strike with devastating retaliation. India's nuclear doctrine is rooted in no first use, but the existence of the triad ensures any aggression will be met with overwhelming force. It reflects India's strategic maturity and commitment to peace through strength. The triad not only deters adversaries, but compels global powers to respect India as a nation with not just nuclear weapons, but with the full operational spectrum to use them if necessary. India's advancements in space technology have redefined its global stature, transforming it from a developing space power into one of the most respected players in the strategic space domain. The Indian Space Research Organization, ISRO, once known for its budget efficiency, has now become a symbol of precision, innovation, and strategic capability. One of the most significant breakthroughs was India's Chandrayaan-3 mission, which successfully landed near the Moon's south pole, an area no other nation had explored. This mission demonstrated not just India's technological edge, but also its willingness to take bold, pioneering steps in space exploration. Mars orbiter mission Mangalyaan, launched in 2013, placed India in the elite club of nations to reach Mars, and it did so on its first attempt and with a fraction of the cost spent by others. Beyond exploration, India has built a powerful network of satellites that provide crucial capabilities for weather monitoring, communications, navigation, and most importantly, defense. The Indian Regional Navigation Satellite System, ERNS, gives India its own GPS-like coverage, enhancing both military and civilian navigation. India also proved its military edge in space with the successful test of an anti-satellite ASAT weapon in 2019 under Mission Shakti. By destroying a live satellite in low Earth orbit, India became the fourth country in the world with such capability, sending a strong message about its readiness to defend its assets in space. ISRO's focus on reusable launch vehicles, human spaceflight missions like Gaganyaan, and deep space exploration puts it in direct competition with the biggest players in the world. Simultaneously, India's private space sector is rising, adding commercial innovation to its space dominance. These advancements position India not just as a space-faring nation, but as a space power with significant influence over future global technology and defense. India has rapidly emerged as a major force in the global technology and cyber domain, positioning itself as both an innovation hub and a digital fortress. With a tech-savvy population, world-class engineers, and a booming startup ecosystem, India is shaping the future of digital warfare, cybersecurity, and artificial intelligence on a global scale. India's IT sector has long been known for powering the backbones of major global corporations, but in recent years, its capabilities have expanded far beyond software exports. The country is now investing heavily in artificial intelligence, quantum computing, drone technology, robotics, and blockchain systems to support both economic growth and national defense. Institutions like DRDO and the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology are collaborating with private firms to build next-gen tech that directly feeds into military applications and national infrastructure. On the cybersecurity front, India has developed strong capabilities to defend against digital threats from hostile nations. With increasing cyber attacks targeting critical sectors such as banking, telecom, and defense, India has implemented robust firewalls, real-time threat monitoring systems, and cyber response teams to guard against digital intrusions. Cyber command units within the Indian Armed Forces are also being developed to conduct offensive and defensive cyber operations when required. India's digital public infrastructure, such as Aadhaar, UPI, and the India Stack, has revolutionized how services are delivered at scale. These systems have become models for other countries and showcase India's leadership in digital innovation. At the same time, the country's massive pool of software engineers and cybersecurity experts provides the manpower needed to scale these initiatives across both civilian and military domains. By combining high-tech capability with a strong cyber defense strategy, India is sending a clear message. It's not only prepared to defend its physical borders, but also its digital frontiers in an era of information warfare. India's commitment to self-reliance in defense under the Atmanirbhar Bharat initiative marks a historic shift in its strategic posture. For decades, India was one of the world's largest importers of defense equipment, heavily reliant on foreign suppliers for critical technologies. Today, that dependency is being systematically dismantled as India moves towards building a robust, self-sufficient defense ecosystem. At the heart of this transformation is a push to design, develop, and produce advanced military platforms domestically. India's indigenous programs have made significant strides, with the light combat aircraft Tejas being a symbol of local engineering excellence. Similarly, the Arjun main battle tank, Pinaka multi-barrel rocket launcher, Akash surfaced-ware missile, and Astra air-to-air missile reflect growing domestic capability across military branches. The government has also introduced major policy reforms to fast-track defense manufacturing, including the creation of a negative import list which bans the import of over 400 military items that must now be produced domestically. This has opened doors for Indian private companies, startups, and foreign collaborations under the Make in India framework, allowing for greater innovation and indigenous R&D. India is now not just manufacturing for itself, but stepping into the global arms market as an exporter. The export of BrahMos missiles, artillery systems, radars, and drones to friendly nations signals confidence in Indian-made weapons. Defense public sector undertakings like HAL and DRDO, along with rising private firms, are transforming India into a credible global supplier. This move toward defense self-reliance is not only about economic growth or reducing dependency, it's a strategic necessity. By controlling its own military supply chains, India ensures that it can defend itself under any geopolitical condition, without waiting for external approvals or facing sanctions that could paralyze critical operations. India's rise as a global power is not only defined by its military and economic strength, but also by its ability to build and manage strategic alliances with key international players. In an increasingly polarized world, India has positioned itself uniquely, forming strong ties with nations across ideological and geopolitical divides, all while safeguarding its own national interests. One of the most significant pillars of India's strategic diplomacy is its active role in multilateral alliances such as the Quad, which includes the United States, Japan, and Australia. This group focuses on Indo-Pacific security, technological cooperation, and countering regional aggression, especially in response to China's expanding influence. Through the Quad, India projects strength and influence in maritime security, supply chain resilience, and cyber defense. At the same time, India has maintained strong bilateral relations with Russia, a time-tested defense partner. The continued purchase of the S-400 air defense system and co-development of weapons platforms like the BrahMos missile shows that India balances its strategic partnerships across rival power blocs. India also shares close military and technological ties with France and Israel, particularly in the fields of aerospace, cyber intelligence, and missile technology. India's engagement in BRICS and the Shanghai Cooperation Organization adds further dimension to its global role, giving it influence in economic and political forums that counterbalance Western dominance. Its voice is increasingly important in the G20, UN, and World Bank, where it advocates for the global South and emerging economies. This diplomatic flexibility gives India leverage. It allows New Delhi to buy oil from sanctioned nations, import defense systems from competing superpowers, and lead regional development without being bound to any single alliance. These global alliances enhance India's power projection and ensure that in any international crisis or negotiation, India remains at the table, not as a spectator, but as a key decision maker. India's economic rise has become one of the defining features of its growing global influence. As the world's fifth largest economy by nominal GDP and third largest by purchasing power parity, India is no longer just a rising economy. It is a central pillar in the global economic system. What sets India apart today is not just its size, but the momentum behind its manufacturing revolution and economic reforms. India is investing heavily in infrastructure, digital transformation, and industrial growth through initiatives like Make in India, production-linked incentive PLI schemes, and Digital India. These programs aim to turn India into a global manufacturing hub, capable of producing everything from smartphones and semiconductors to advanced weapon systems and electric vehicles. Major global companies, including Apple, Samsung, and Tesla, are shifting parts of their supply chains to India, reducing dependency on China and recognizing India's potential for scale and stability. The defense manufacturing sector is also booming. India is building tanks, fighter jets, drones, and submarines domestically, not only for self-use but also for export. The economy is now being viewed as a key enabler of military strength and strategic autonomy. India's service sector, especially in IT and software, continues to dominate globally, exporting billions in value and offering critical technological infrastructure to Fortune 500 companies. At the same time, India's vast domestic market, fueled by a growing middle class and youthful population, drives internal consumption and sustains long-term growth. With stable governance, improving ease of doing business, and digital tools like UPI and Aadhaar streamlining transactions, India is showing the world how to blend scale, speed, and innovation. The manufacturing and economic momentum not only strengthens India's global position, but also builds the economic resilience necessary to support strategic and military ambitions in an increasingly competitive world. India's internal strength is one of the most underestimated sources of its global influence. Despite its vast diversity, over 1.4 billion people, thousands of languages and dialects, multiple religions, and countless ethnic groups, India continues to stand united as the world's largest democracy. This unity in diversity is not just a cultural asset. It is a force multiplier that fuels national resilience, social cohesion, and unwavering patriotic spirit. In recent years, there has been a strong resurgence of national pride, driven by a renewed sense of cultural identity, historical awareness, and civic participation. Citizens from all walks of life, from urban professionals to rural farmers, are increasingly engaged in the nation's progress. Nationalism has evolved into a unifying thread, cutting across regions and classes, inspiring millions to contribute to India's development in various forms: economic, social, and strategic. The armed forces enjoy deep respect among the population, and this strong civilian military bond strengthens morale during times of crisis. Whether it's responding to border tensions, natural disasters, or internal challenges, India's ability to mobilize its people and resources swiftly has repeatedly demonstrated its internal strength. India's democratic institutions, free press, and an active civil society add layers of accountability and stability, allowing for course correction while maintaining national cohesion. Social welfare schemes, digital public platforms, and inclusive economic initiatives are bringing historically marginalized communities into the mainstream, making the country stronger from within. This internal strength ensures that India cannot be destabilized easily. Unlike many nations where internal divisions lead to vulnerability, India's democratic fabric, cultural tolerance, and unified national consciousness make it exceptionally resilient. It is this stability, born out of shared struggles, shared dreams, and shared identity, that gives India the confidence to project itself as a rising global power with deep roots and unshakable foundations. India's geographic location places it in one of the most volatile neighborhoods in the world, sharing borders with two nuclear-armed adversaries, China and Pakistan. Despite these challenges, India has consistently demonstrated exceptional resilience and tactical superiority along its borders, reinforcing its reputation as a formidable military power that cannot be pushed around. The most striking example of this resilience was witnessed during the 2020 Galwan Valley clash with China. In a high-altitude, hand-to-hand combat situation, Indian soldiers held their ground with unmatched courage and strategic discipline. The Indian Army not only stood firm, but also matched China's troop build, up in Ladakh with swift deployments, upgraded infrastructure, and the induction of advanced weapon systems suited for mountain warfare. Along the western border with Pakistan, India has maintained strategic dominance through consistent surveillance, precision strikes, and proactive counter-insurgency operations. Surgical strikes in 2016 and the Balakot airstrike in 2019 sent a strong message that India is not hesitant to respond with force when provoked. The line of control remains active, but Indian forces have repeatedly shown their ability to respond with speed, accuracy, and overwhelming power. India's border infrastructure has improved significantly with all weather roads, forward air bases, and logistical networks now supporting faster troop movements. Indigenous drones, satellites, and advanced surveillance systems provide real-time intelligence, giving Indian commanders a technological edge in decision-making. Moreover, India's specialized mountain divisions, high-altitude training academies, and acclimatized forces provide a critical advantage in terrain that challenges most armies. These forces are not only trained to survive, but to dominate in the harshest conditions. This combination of mental toughness, tactical readiness, and infrastructural development gives India the ability to deter aggression, defend every inch of its land, and if needed, deliver a decisive response that commands international respect and strategic caution. India's strength is not built on material power alone. It is deeply rooted in a rare and powerful fusion of spiritual heritage and scientific ambition. Unlike many nations that separate tradition from progress, India weaves both into a single narrative that fuels its rise with purpose, clarity, and conviction. For thousands of years, India has been a land of seekers, saints, philosophers, and visionaries. The teachings of ancient scriptures like the Vedas, Upanishads, and the Bhagavad Gita continue to shape the moral and philosophical compass of the nation. These teachings emphasize inner strength, self-discipline, resilience, and the pursuit of truth, qualities that are now reflected in how India navigates global challenges. Spirituality in India is not confined to ritual. It is a living force that instills courage, patience, and a sense of destiny in its people. At the same time, India is boldly stepping into the future with world-class achievements in science and technology. From space missions to quantum computing, biotechnology to renewable energy, India is making significant strides in areas that define 21st century leadership. Institutions like ISRO, DRDO, and IIT have become centers of innovation, producing not just technologies, but also minds capable of solving global problems. What sets India apart is the harmony between its ancient wisdom and modern vision. While one guides the soul of the nation, the other empowers its hands. This spiritual scientific blend allows India to rise with humility and strength, knowing that real power is not just about domination, but about understanding, balance, and higher purpose. This identity, rooted in the past, grounded in the present, and reaching for the stars, is what gives India its unique force. It is not just rising as a superpower. It is rising as a civilization that carries both knowledge and consciousness in every step forward. India's rise is not a coincidence. It is the outcome of centuries of resilience, sacrifice, and vision. From the battlefield to the boardroom, from ancient scriptures to space stations, India is showing the world that true power comes from within. It is feared not because it seeks domination, but because it stands unshaken, unbought, and unstoppable. As this great nation continues its ascent, one thing is certain: the world can no longer ignore the lion that has awakened. Thank you for watching. Stay inspired, stay informed, and never stop believing in greatness. Good luck, and may your journey be as powerful as India's rise.